because we all did it together. And I don't think it's nice to be the pain in the arse. First, I would have some respect for the translators who need to translate my street-based English. So, yeah, I'm shocked. Thank you. I would like to give a brief overview about drug user history and especially about our interests. And it started in 1977, and I think that's a quite important thing. And please remember that name, the name of Nico Adriaans. In Rotterdam, he started the first junkie union worldwide. And he had contact with Hans Visser, the priest from the St. Paul's Church, and he could explain why we as drug users need to have support from non-users. And in the main goals in that time, there was social acceptance and decriminalization. Later on, 10 years later, even more, in 1999, at the World AIDS Day, ádikù was born, an international European network of people who use drugs. And it was a next moment that was very important for all drug users all around the world. A new point of action was to put pressure on politicians. And now we are almost, or even more than 40 years later, we still have the same main goals. So, in fact, sometimes I think I'm really sad about this. I worked for quite hard, I think, myself, and we didn't move a bit. But that is not true. The first time I went to an international conference was in Utrecht. I was not allowed to get in because I have to pay 1,500 guilders. Much too much for me. It was almost 2 months of social money. And I collect a lot of friends, drug users, and we stand in front of the door. And we ask, can we get in? Because you are talking about us. It's better to talk with me instead of about me. Oh, no, it can be dangerous and you take drugs and we will steal. No. If you get in, we will behave as normal human beings, because we are. And if you don't let us in, we will make some problems in front of the door. And they discussed, but we get in with 10 of us. And it was the first time that workers were working and talking to users. And they find out that we really can communicate with words, not only with needles. But I got the possibility to really start funded interest of drug users. My first point was that I would like to have 2 field workers, drug users, active drug users, who have to do harm reduction. And at the ministry they were shocked. Why don't you take students or professional social workers? No, drug users, they have the contacts. They get into the dealer addresses. They know each other, they can correct, to help each other. And then they say, yeah, but you even ask for much money, for good payment for drug users. And maybe they will buy drugs. And I was there with my boss, and I look around and I said, yes, but maybe one of you colleagues bring the money to my girls on the street. My boss was shocked, the man of the ministry was shocked, but at the end he understood. We only make one note, no dealing allowed. And that took us just 1 month before my field worker was arrested because of dealing. I need to explain it at the ministry. And I said, yeah, because we are already involved in prison. So we make a lot of progress. They didn't understand that. The other one, I sent him out to find needles in kindergarten. And one day he came back and his hand was totally under blood and plasters. And I said, what happened? He said, yeah, I know who always put the syringes in the kindergarten. But it's finished now. And I said, man, that's not a professional attitude. No, it was not professional, but effective. And sometimes we just react in another way. So what? Our main goal is that other people don't have any pain of that. So sometimes we are, more direct or more effective. I won't speak that long. However, I got a lot to tell. My organization was called Landelijk Steunpunt Druggebruikers, National Interest Group of Drug Users. In Dutch, I asked for money for Landelijk Steunpunt, LS, because I was afraid that if at the ministry they would see Landelijk Steunpunt Druggebruikers, they will see LSD, and they don't like that. So we said LS, and they agree with our project, and then I immediately said druggebruikers. And afterwards they told me that they really liked the name, and it's a good name because everybody reminds my email address, theo@lsd.nl. I think it's time right now, like I mentioned in the beginning, that we were not allowed to get in a conference. Right now we really participate in it. On the other hand, we are just participating from the moment that we are invited to participate with you. And I would like that the next generation, like Matt and all the others all around Europe, around the world, would not participate with social workers, with professionals, but professionals have to participate with us.
Yes.
It looks like it's a very small difference, but there is a big difference between that. The feeling to be really accepted as a professional, we have a lot of knowledge. And please use our knowledge. And you already told it, there is so much experience on what we are doing. And I think we need to make more next steps. I will just take a look at, if I have to write a report for the ministry, for the funders, I always do it very brief. Then I can be sure they read it, because I know a lot of institutes who write down booklets every year, and they read it like, oh yeah, read it. But our reports are always being read by the officials. And at the end of my small report, 3-4 pages, I invite them to come over to see our activities. Because seeing, really, when you can show things, they're more surprised than whatever. So I would like to invite you, if you need to write a report for funders, do it as briefly as possible. I need to tell something about our International Drug User Day. We had 8 times, 9 times, we were not invited for conferences, and we said, okay, we make our own conferences. And we have the possibility to get some money for that. And we invite drug users to do presentations. And drug users from all over Europe visited it. We had, at the end of the day, a band playing music. One year it was even a band with all policemen from the Red Light District in Amsterdam. And it was really great to take your drugs just in front of policemen who were playing rock and roll music. And it was a lot of fun in that. But it gave policemen, for the first time in their lives, a real possibility to see people taking drugs, to talk with them without that they didn't need to arrest us, that they don't need to stop us. And we even invite a lot of low threshold workers, and they were all surprised about the quality of our presentations and working groups. And about the price and the quality of drugs as well, of course. During that day, I could invite some good connections dealers, because we would like to have a good and